Hi, welcome to John's Jeep Garage. This video is about removing a transmission, an automatic transmission, from your Jeep Wrangler JK. The automatic transmission is a 5-speed. It's the W5A580 model, and the Jeep we're using is a 2016 Jeep Wrangler. It's a 4-door. In this, we're going to show you, we're going to fast forward to the work if you go to this timestamp, but we're going to go ahead and give you some basic information. Number one, this is a big job. It's a serious job, and personally, I would recommend using a professional service provider or a transmission company to do this type of work, because there's a lot of risks. Risk affecting the performance of your vehicle by damaging equipment, and the other risk is that this is a big, heavy piece of equipment. So I'm going to tell you a couple things about this specific video. Number one, we didn't choose to remove the transfer case first to make it lighter. We chose to take the entire transfer case and transmission out. We're using a transmission jack that we purchased from Harbor Freight. It's a Pittsburgh 800-pound jack, so you'll see that in the video. We're going to show you how to remove all the things underneath so that you are clear for doing it. And we may do things a little different than some other people on how we cleared it, because we took even the exhaust pipe off. Some people can loosen it and turn it off to the side, especially if they have one of those car lifts where you're working in a garage that's not as small as mine. In the description of this video, we're going to show you a link to a video we have on how to remove the OEM or the factory front drive shaft for your Jeep Wrangler JK. In this video, we're just going to show you an abbreviated version because we have an aftermarket Adams drive shaft in the front. We will show you in this version how to remove the rear drive shaft. I can only emphasize enough, this is a big job. So follow along. I would recommend looking at the entire video first before you start it, because it could be daunting. All right, thank you for watching. So what I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna go ahead and just loosen with the wrench, maybe half a turn each one of these before I go ahead and put my socket on. So this is a 5/16 that you're gonna need. All right, so on the back of this flange, you see how they have the hole, you got your screw holes, right? And then, by the way, if it's really stuck, you can spray on this side some penetrating oil. But you take a punch, it's kind of a tight space in here, so it's gonna be a little bit on an angle, and I'm gonna punch it to be able to free this, and I'll probably rotate it and punch it in another hole. See the other hole right here. So I'm gonna punch and punch to be able to free it up. Okay, once you know it's loose all the way around, and again, like I said, if you have two people, someone can hold this for you, but be careful because it will drop. I have the other end suspended, but if you're doing this with somebody, they can hold it up. It's easier having it lifted as you rotate it. Remember, the vehicle's still in neutral, and then I'll show you when we remove everything, how to get it off. All right, the bolts are off. Now I want to show you something really close up. Do you see that little slot right there? Is that you go ahead and you take a punch and you punch it out that way, but you hit it to try to knock this out, and you rotate it and you hit it. Now this nut is a 1 1/4 inch nut on the T-case flange, and just gonna put my impact to there and take that off. Now, since I've already rotated this drive shaft, I'm gonna go ahead and put it back into park. Removing this flange is not a necessary step. We just removed it for our purposes. All right, on this one, don't even try to beat this one. You're gonna feel really silly when you realize your effort will go without any result. So I put my puller on here, couple little clicks like that, and there you go. Removing the transfer case skid plate. Those are 18mm bolts, and then there's this cross brace that has 3 bolts as well, and we remove that. And also inside the cross member you can see 3 flange nuts. They hold on that transfer case isolator mount, and they are 16mm. So we have an Adams front drive shaft on this Jeep. Look at our channel, and there is a specific detailed video on how to remove the factory front drive shaft. The link will be in the description. All right, now that that front drive shaft's off, you can see that you got this exhaust pipe, and on the passenger side you have the crossover coming from that catalytic converter. So we're going to go ahead and remove the bolts holding this flange together. All right, so before we tackle the driver's side exhaust flange, we need to remove this cross member support. Now this is a big deal because this holds up your transmission from your transfer case end. So support your transfer case with a jack. Now, 2 bolts on the driver's side, remove those. Then you're going to switch over to the passenger side. You got 2 from the gas tank or the fuel tank skid plate, and then again those 2 from the side. Once those 2 bolts are removed from the passenger side, go to the driver's side and then pull out that way. That way you don't have to fool with the fuel tank skid plate at all. And make sure you still are supporting that transfer case, because now you've just lost your major support. All right, let's tackle the driver's side exhaust flange. The top bolt, you're going to probably need a gear wrench to use. Now, just to clear the way, we also removed the transfer case isolator mount. People may choose another option, but I removed all the exhaust hangers from the pins on the exhaust pipe. It gave me the flexibility to move the pipe around. There is a tool that you can use to do this. I just used WD-40 on the pin and a pliers wrench and maneuver my way around, pressing that pin in and pulling out the rubber. All right, so it's loose down. You see it from the driver's side view. From the passenger side view, you can see the crossover exhaust still there. So where it's joined together at that joint, I remove that nut, spread open that clamp, and then use a hammer to loosen it up so I can just remove it completely and be free and clear. Now I want to secure it out of the way. I just use a bungee cord to strap it on the side. So let's do a quick look at the connection points now that it's off. So you see on the very top, if you just kind of look at the very top, you got the 2 bolts there. The 2 bolts there, those are the hardest to get to. And then you got the bolt here, and then it starts working on the other side. You have your transmission cooler line there. You have your fill tube there. And looking at everything, oh, you have your transfer case is right here as well. The tube, your linkage, and then you have that electrical connection. Pretty much everything's in the video, but I just wanted to give you a top view. Make sure you disconnect your battery. I keep these handy. It's when you buy a new battery. I got a few of them. So I just like pop it on right there. That way if this thing ever kicks back, it's got a buffer zone to make sure there's no connection. Okay, let's start with this shifter cable. If you see this yellow clip, let's see if I can do it with my fingers. You gotta like pry this way and this one this way. So I'll use a screwdriver and see what we can do. Try to do this with one hand. Now it's off. If you can kind of see it. Now I'm just going to take off the cable from the transfer case. Just going to get my screwdriver in there and just, oops, pop it off. You can kind of see that it's just a little pressure fitting. So that was the transfer case. And now I'm just doing the regular automatic gear shifting for the transmission. Pop this off and then need to, kind of filming this upside down, remove these bolts. Okay, I'm gonna take this off, 2 of them, top and bottom, 13 millimeter. Oop. Same thing as before, just pop it off. Now for me, I go ahead and put those bolts back in because it's just easier for me to keep track of everything. Now that electrical wire usually has that protective cover over it, but it really just disintegrated when I touched it. So just got to remember I want to replace that. I just pulled both shift linkages out of the way so I could have some, just make it clear because they just keep popping out. Okay, now I need to get, if you notice, there's a lot of retaining clips on that electrical connection going to the transfer case. And as I told you, I'm taking it all off as one unit, but like you see that, and then I need to go ahead and remove this connection. So this electrical connection is on this 4-wheel drive indicator switch, and it's going to be easier for me to show you when I take it off, but that flat side on the right, I'm going to be pressing in to pull off. I want to give you enough light to see, but if you notice that flat side, if you press right here, if you press right where my thumb is and you pull up, it comes out. Do your best to get all these, retaining clips off. Once I got all the retaining clips off, I just went ahead and kind of wrapped the wire around the shift linkage that I had already pulled back with a bungee. Okay, so I have that transfer case vent line that's right on top, and all you need is something to break the seal and just kind of push up. See if I can do it. Yeah, I got it up high enough where I can just pull it off now. Get my hand up in there, yeah. So that's all it took. I'm pretty much finished on this side, which is the driver's side. Now I'm gonna go to the other side. You got that fuel line bracket, and then there's gonna be another retaining clip for that electrical connection that went to the top of the transfer case that it's easier to access on that side. All right, on the passenger side, you can see the bracket right there for the fuel lines. I'm going to, and then you can see that vent line that's coming all the way across. That's the one I just removed. I'm just going to leave it hanging on the other side. And then up here, there's that one last electrical connection, a retaining clip, not a connection, but see the retaining clip. That's, I need to pop that so it doesn't come down with the when I remove the transmission, and then we'll work on the transmission lines as well as the bracket that's up here. Oh, and also that dipstick tube. Now, maybe I didn't say it before, but before this transmission comes off, you need to pull that dipstick out of that from the engine bay. A little bit of an odd size, but this is a 16 millimeter. And again, I'm going to remove it, and then I'm going to put it back onto the transmission once I remove this bracket. So I got it removed, and I'm just putting it back on, kind of about halfway in. Got that last retaining clip free. Okay, this is the fill tube as well as the dipstick tube. And there's this bracket, it's a 10 millimeter bolt. So the way I'm doing it is I'm pulling this bolt loose because it's just a little fitting where it fits underneath. And then I'm just gonna pop that up because it's basically just like a pressure fit in there, if that's the correct description. And then this cover bracket, 8 millimeter and 8 millimeter, and I'll take that off. Again, like I said, the transmission lines, I'm waiting till the end. I'm gonna go pull that dipstick out now. I position my light just so I can kind of show you the bolt I'm working for. So here's the tube. Let's follow that tube up. And then you're gonna see on the far, get a little closer, on the far right, bottom bracket bolt, 15 millimeter, I'm gonna take that one out. And then there's gonna be another one kind of symmetrical for that same bracket. This one's at the 1 o'clock position, and we will get it later in the video. Because that holds the bracket, has all your fuel lines and everything on it. So it's hard for me to show you because I'm filming this by myself and doing the job, but I have an extension and a U-joint adapter, but I was able to get this up here and get it pretty straight. So I'm now gonna remove that on this side. And I put that back in. I'm gonna put this one back in, and I'll show you how to remove this. Okay, now you remove this bracket, you take this piece here. Remember, it's pointed up as far as it can go before it hits this. So I'm gonna pull down counterclockwise, there, like that, and then I should be able to pull out. Been able to just pop that up. I'll have that space. And you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna move this out of the way. Just remember, it goes underneath when you put it back. I'm gonna put it on top right now. Get myself clear. All right, let me see if I can kind of bring you up. So up to a visual point here. If this is the tube, if you look, you'll see this tube coming across this tube right here. And it connects, kind of blind, connects to a little port. And you pull it, if we can see it, but you pull it, and it's just a tube, breather tube, again, on one of those fittings. That's a better shot of it. You can see it. If you can see on the top, let me see if I can get some focus here. Had to feel my way. That's an extension with my 15 millimeter socket, but I had to feel my way all the way up to get to that very top. Well, if we look from the driver's side, And this is one of the reasons I have the transmission angled down. This is at about at the 11 o'clock position. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this bolt, and then I'm going to get a better view from the back, from the transfer case end. All right, that bolt's removed. Now let's look at the one holding that bracket. You see that? That's that one on the other side of the bracket I need to get. I'm not sure which side. I think I'm going to approach it from the driver's side. Just a quick reminder of the bolt hole positions. I put multiple extensions together. This is about all you're going to see on that one. And the bolt's out. There's one more retaining clip. Let me see if I can get a close up to it. You can kind of see it's on the top. It's about 10 o'clock. There, maybe it's a better picture. 10 o'clock that I have to also pop off. Okay, time to do transmission lines. I'm gonna pop this little white seal off, and then I'll show you what it looks like inside. I don't know if you can see, so there are these tools that are made for this. But if you notice, I'm trying to hold the camera straight, which is hard, but there's this little clip that I grab a hold to. I really don't want it to like disappear on me. Good, it just fell. And then I'm afraid I'm going to get oil fluid everywhere. Hold on, let me get prepared. Safety glasses, secure and everything. I just gave a firm tug, and yes, you're going to lose fluid. And I told you from the beginning that I was not going to drop my pan. So those two transmission cooler lines, I'm gonna go ahead and take this one off the same way. I'm not gonna video it because it's the same exact thing that I did earlier. I also want to just make sure I remember the configuration of the bolts. So these two are this way, and that's on the passenger side, and then the one on the driver's side, they're all facing that direction. Okay, remember I still have the transfer case attached. This is the way I wanted to do it. A little heavier, but I have a robust 800-pound transmission jack, which I don't need that much capacity. And I've already got the two upper bolts removed, so now I'm going to start on the other bolts on each side. Some of these I've had to loosen up with a breaker bar before I could actually put a power ratchet to it. There's two long bolts that are, once you do it, it's the top two bolts on this side. Not the very top, which we removed in the beginning, but the top two bolts on this side. Also, I'm just taking the starter, and since I've already removed those bolts, so this little red button had broke, or what do you call it, the safety latch had broke, so I'm just clearing it out of the way so I can go ahead and press this connector right here and pull it out. All right, so I positioned it where it's just easier for me, and then I'm going to take that nut off, which is a 13 millimeter. I got to take that safety clip and piece broke, so I need to get that off so I can go ahead and remove this starter and then get to the torque converter bolts. that I got that ground off. That connection, and then the ground 13 millimeter. Okay, let's get up in here and see what we can see. The bolts on the flywheel. There's 6 of them. I gotta rotate to pull them off. Keeping this lower bolt in until all torque converter bolts are removed. In this part of the video, I use the harmonic balancer to turn the main shaft so that the flywheel would turn to give me access to the torque converter bolts. An easy way to do it for some as an option is to use a large flathead screwdriver on the teeth of the flywheel to slowly turn it. You may find that more convenient. I didn't use that option. It's a 27 millimeter socket. I use from one of my axle sockets. And then I just put I don't have a long extension, so it's a little time consuming because I have to keep coming back and moving it. But I'm using just a cheater bar or breaker bar because it's very long and it gives me more range. Look at the torque converter bolts. You got 2 right next to each other there, 2 right here, and then 2 right here. So that's 6 in total. You're working blind in that position, removing the bolt heads, so you have to feel carefully. But I'm all done, and so I'm going to go ahead and start to lower the jack and move this out. Back it off carefully, watch your surroundings, make sure the transmission doesn't roll, and lower slowly. And if you're doing this at home, just ensure your vehicle's jacked up high enough so that bell housing can fit from underneath your vehicle. Well, that's a wrap. It's a big job. And as I said, I emphasize using a professional service technician, but we hope this video gave you some insight on the size job as well as the risks that are in a job like this. All right, and if it helped and you enjoyed it, please like and consider subscribing to our channel. Thank you for watching.